Hello crafty cuties, welcome back to Paper Terrace. If you're new, my name is Jessica. Today we are going to finish the wallpaper journal covers. This is part 2 of my mushroom journal collection, and in part 1, if you didn't see, we went through and I showed you the process of me picking out the pages and decorating times 4. There's 4 journals here. So in today's video, I'm going to move 3 of these aside because essentially I will show you the process for 1, and then I do that same thing to the other 3 off camera just because it's repetitive. So yes, in this video, we're going to finish the covers. And so I'm just going to go ahead and remove the guts of the book, set it aside. And so basically all I have so far is 2 pieces of wallpaper back to back, and they're just folded in half. And what I think I'm going to start with is I'm deciding, because we have 2 wallpaper pieces together, so it makes sense for me to go ahead and keep this open so that I can have a side pocket. And so if I want to add lace, which I think I do, I'm just going to sew it to the top page here. So I have some laces here just because I was assuming that's what I would probably do. And ooh, I think I'm going to do this crocheted lace for this journal. And so I'm going to go ahead and sew that on straight down here. And then I'm trying to think, I also want to add some lace closures to this one. And I think I'm going to use this it's kind of a pretty dainty little lace. And I'm going to go ahead and cut 2 pieces for the closures. So something like that. Although I do have sari ribbon, and I was just thinking that might also look really nice. Let me grab that. Now that I have it out, I feel like this just goes so well. Let's do this since we're going to have lace on the front anyways. And I like how much texture there is with this kind of a closure, the sari ribbon. I actually get my sari ribbon off Amazon. So let's see, we probably have about 12 inches, and I have 2 pieces. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew this to the inside cover only on each side. And then I'm also going to sew this across the front here. And then after I do both of those things separately, I'm going to sew at the bottom and the top. I will bring you over to the sewing machine. I just won't be able to talk much. So let's head over there and we can finish the sewing portion. I should keep in mind though, do I want to add pockets? You know, this is so pretty that I don't really want to cover it up, but I do like the idea of having a little pocket on the inside. And then I think the back cover, I'll do something else. So let's see, I do have just some book pages here. We might as well prepare everything now before we go to the sewing machine. And I think what I want to do is just go ahead and I'm just going to use that as my guide for how tall I want the pocket to be. I don't want to cover too much of the wallpaper. And I'm going to cover this, I think, in lace because I want it to be really pretty. Let's see here. Something like that. And yeah, I have this other crocheted lace. I'm thinking I will cut a piece that can cover this. And since that lace isn't quite long enough, or sorry, tall enough, I'm gonna add, maybe I'll like layer on a couple different laces. Ooh, this eyelet lace is really cute. Definitely going to use that. So I'll just cut off a piece that's long enough for that. And then I've been loving using my leaf trim, and I'll just grab a piece when we go to the sewing machine and put that across. So I'll sew all of this on, and then I'll sew the pocket on separately as well before we put these together. Okay, so let's head over to the sewing machine. Okay, this isn't the best view, but we'll have to make it work. So I'm going to take that first piece and sew on, I'm going to sew on the lace for the cover, and I do want to trim this a bit because I don't really want it to be too long. I want it to be just the same size. I'm going to do a zigzag stitch. I find that to be the best for lace. And I do need to trim that again. Well, I'll just do it at the end. And I'm going to back stitch. For a dainty lace, I do like to make sure I do a back stitch, and I didn't do that at the top, so. Just really want to make sure that stays on. We just ran out of bobbin thread, lovely. So I'm going to trim that down below. Okay, what else do we need to add to the front? Nothing. Okay, so then we're going to take this, the inside cover, like I was saying, and actually, you know what, I am going to go ahead and I am going to sew the closures to the front cover as well, just so everything's sewn to that. Okay, so I got to change my bobbin thread off camera real quick. Okay, so now I'm just going to go ahead and sew on the closure about halfway down the cover. Well, that went flying. So anyways, now I'm going to go ahead and do the other one once I put the thread back on. All right, I'm doing a different thread. I have a feeling this is going to be a pain in the butt. So I'm just going to use this to kind of measure where my other closure needs to go. Okay, and I just go over that a few times. Whoops. To make sure that those closures are on there nice and secure. Okay. Then what we need to do next is our little pocket. So I'm basically just using the book page to make this more sturdy rather than just using lace. So I'm going to grab a little piece of my leaf trim, which also kind of just matches throughout the whole journal since I've used it on a bunch of the embellishments that I've made. So I feel like it really ties everything in together. So I'm just going to get everything situated here. Okay, and then I'll just sew. Oh, did we come on? I've never had such issues with my thread, but it would happen while I was filming, and I rarely ever film at the sewing machine, but I'm just going to go ahead and leave this in because, well, just because this is how it goes. There we go. Okay, let's try that again. when I have little threads like this, I kind of like to set it up right as I'm on the sewing machine so that I can put that foot down to hold everything in place. And with the leaf trim, you kind of have to make sure all the leaves are facing up. And I'm going to go ahead and sew the crocheted part on as well. Just right. That shifted a little, and I do find that that can happen with crocheted lace, so I'm just going to trim that a little bit, and we're just going to use it to our advantage and add on some more laces, just kind of for a little collagey fun look. We can go ahead and sew this onto the inner pocket. Try to line that up as best as possible. Now we can go ahead and put the two covers back to back. Are we still filming? Yes, we are. And again, to keep the sides open, I'm just going to sew on the top and the bottom. So before I do that, I'm going to quickly take my half circle punch, my circle punch. And I don't want to punch where the mushrooms are, but I'm going to do a little half circle so that you'll just be able to tell that it is a pocket. Okay, and then we'll go ahead. We're going to sew the top and the bottom. And I'm going to make sure to use a stitch that I really like. I'm going to do number 25. It's kind of a, I'll show you, a fun little squiggly line. Then I will do the same thing to the bottom. And there is lace on the bottom, so, well, that's okay. We're just going to work with it. We're going to head back over to the table. Okay, so now that we have the cover done, I was deciding if I wanted to add any of these little metal corners. I got these from Temu. They have them on Amazon as well, but I think since I already have lace, I don't, yeah, that's not going to work. So that could have been cute. And these ones are actually so small that they would work for something with wallpaper, but we're going to skip that. And I think because this video was so straightforward, I'm going to go ahead and also sew the pages in to this journal as well so that we can just get that out of the way. And then the final step is going to do my final embellishing. So real quick before I get started, let's go ahead and make sure that I have these in the order that I want. I think that I already do, but this is a good time to also make sure that all of the pages are right side up. I noticed the ledger paper is upside down, but honestly, that's not a really big deal because you can use it both ways. Okay, yeah, so we have everything in the right order. And I do just want to make sure, I love making sure that I love the, like, when you open up the journal, that presentation that you have to get the journal started. And so I just wanted to make sure, I think I love how it looks. I love this image, and we have a pocket so I can put something fun in the pocket as well. So to get started, this is very bulky since we did some decoration already. So I am going to take a couple paper clips and hold everything into place. So just lining it all up. Then I'll take my paper clip, put one on the bottom, and then I'll put one on the other side on the top. That should be good enough for this. And I have really been loving doing a 5-hole pamphlet stitch. So that's what we're gonna do here. I feel like it just really keeps everything super, what's the word I'm looking for? Okay, real quick, I'm gonna go 4 times, I think, the size of the height. But basically, I feel like all of the pages feel super secure with the 5-hole pamphlet stitch. So that's what we're gonna do today. I'm gonna find a needle. Go ahead and thread that with, I'm using wax linen thread from Amazon. Just bring it through just a little bit. And then I'm going to take my awl and I am going to, as evenly as I can, punch 5 holes. And I like to just hold this at kind of like a V, like down on my table. Find the middle-ish. Punch. And kind of while holding it like a V still, I kind of bring it up so that everything stays together nicely. And then I'm going to go down and out like that. And one closer to the bottom, like 1/2 inch from the very bottom. Then I'm just going to kind of evenly as I can, space those out at the top as well. Doesn't have to be perfect unless you want it to. Okay, we have our 5 holes. This is really easy to do on a 1 signature journal as well. So I'm going to go ahead and go out the center. Go all the way out. I'm going to pull it through, leaving just a little tail on the inside, being careful not to pull that all the way through. And then I'm going to bring it up to the second hole up at the top, bringing it all the way in. And if you don't get it all the way through the pages first try, just take your time, work it through. Then you will go up to the top hole, one right above it, go out. Oops. Making sure that we don't get things tangled up. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna go back down to the next hole down. So we've already used that hole, but we're gonna come out, or sorry, we're gonna go from the outside to the inside, really trying not to thread that needle through the wax to linen thread again, just because it's easier if you don't. Then we're gonna skip the middle hole and go down to the next open hole. Pulling that nice and tight. Then we go down to the very bottom hole. All the way in. Then we're going to go back up to this next one. We're kind of weaving our way down. And it can be a little tricky when you have closures everywhere. Oh, we're going to pull it back through, but here's something that happens sometimes. My needle, I did pull it right off, but that's okay. We will just re-thread that. It happens. Don't panic if it does. And then we're going to go, our last hole, we're going to go back to the center, to the inside. You want to, here, I'm going to bring it through and then I'll show you. You want your two ends to both be on, I made way, that was such a long string. Anyways, you want one end to be on one side of that center and one to be on the other. I need to trim that quite a bit. I don't know why. I think, yeah, probably only need like 3 times the height. I'm not sure what I was thinking, but that's okay. Make sure everything is nice and tight. Then go ahead and do a double knot and you're done with the binding. So these journals are almost done, but now off camera, I get to go ahead and do that same thing to the next 3 journals. And then in the final video, I want it to have its own video because it's kind of my favorite part. We're going to go through and do the very final embellishing and just making sure that everything is completely good to go. So thanks for hanging out with me today, guys. Thanks for watching my video. Be sure to give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.